October 23rd, 2019. What was supposed to be a wholesome evening at the annual Harvest Moon Hayride turned into the night an entire community learned that not all monsters wear masks for fun. The Riverside Community Farm Hayride was a local tradition. Families from 3 counties would pile into tractors pulling hay-covered trailers, winding through decorated cornfields while volunteers in costumes jumped out to deliver harmless scares. Sarah Mitchell, a 34-year-old mother of 2, had been looking forward to this night for weeks. Her kids, Emma and Jake, ages 8 and 10, had talked about nothing else. It was supposed to be simple, wholesome, safe. They arrived at 6:47 p.m., just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The parking field was packed with minivans and SUVs. Hay bales lined the pathways. String lights cast a warm orange glow over everything. Children ran past in costumes, clutching bags of candy from the welcome booth. Sarah remembered feeling grateful, watching her kids laugh as they climbed onto the 3rd trailer of the evening. She sat near the back next to another parent she didn't recognize. A tall man in a flannel shirt, quiet, he smiled politely, but never spoke. The tractor lurched forward at 7:15 p.m. The route was familiar to most locals. A 20-minute loop through the cornfields, past the old barn, around the pumpkin patch, then back to the start. Volunteers in zombie makeup and scarecrow costumes were positioned at intervals, perfectly timed to make the kids scream and giggle. Everything felt normal for the first 10 minutes. Then Sarah noticed something wrong. The man in the flannel shirt wasn't watching the actors, he was watching the children. Specifically, he was watching Emma. His eyes never left her, even when a chainsaw-wielding clown ran alongside the trailer to cheers and delighted shrieks. Sarah's stomach tightened. She told herself she was overreacting. Halloween makes everyone paranoid, right? But when Emma moved to the other side of the trailer to get a better view, the man shifted his position too. Subtle, deliberate. Sarah leaned toward her daughter, pulling her close. "Stay next to me, sweetie," she whispered. Emma didn't question it. The tractor rumbled deeper into the cornfield and the lights from the farm grew distant. This was the darkest part of the route where the real scares happened. The corn rose 8 feet high on both sides, rustling in the October wind. That's when the tractor stopped. Not a planned stop, an emergency stop. The engine cut out completely. Confused murmurs rippled through the passengers. The driver, a volunteer named Frank, climbed down to check the engine. Minutes passed. The kids started getting restless. Some of the parents pulled out their phones, but there was no signal out here. There never was. Sarah kept her eyes on the man in flannel. He was checking his watch. Then he stood up. "Where's the bathroom around here?" he asked loudly to no one in particular. Before anyone could answer, he hopped off the trailer and walked toward the cornfield, not toward the farm, into the darkness, into the corn. Every instinct in Sarah's body screamed. "Frank," she called out to the driver, "that man just went into the field." Frank looked up, confused. "What man?" "The one in the flannel shirt." "He was sitting right there?" Other parents started looking around, realizing they'd barely noticed him either. Frank grabbed his flashlight and aimed it at the corn where Sarah pointed. Nothing, just stalks swaying in the breeze. Then they heard it. Movement, fast, circling the trailer, multiple footsteps, not just one. Frank's face went pale. He pulled out a radio. "We have a code black, repeat, code black, trail 3. Sarah didn't know what that meant, but she pulled both kids onto her lap. Other parents started doing the same, huddling their children close. The sounds in the corn grew louder, closer, then voices, low and coordinated, not volunteers, not actors. Suddenly, beams of light cut through the darkness. Bright, tactical flashlights. Then figures emerged from the corn, but not the flannel man. These were sheriff's deputies in full gear, weapons drawn, moving in formation. They swept the perimeter of the trailer in seconds. "Everyone stay seated," one of them commanded. "Do not leave the trailer." Sarah's heart hammered in her chest. What the hell was happening? The deputies moved into the corn, shouting commands. She heard a struggle, a man's voice yelling. Not flannel man's voice, someone else's, then more voices. Plural. 15 minutes later, the deputies emerged, escorting 3 men in handcuffs. The flannel man was one of them. The other 2 wore dark clothing, faces covered. The lead deputy approached the trailer and spoke directly to Frank, but loud enough for everyone to hear. The tractor didn't break down on its own. Someone cut the fuel line. These three were part of a coordinated plan. We've been tracking them since this afternoon. The words hit Sarah like ice water. The hayride had been sabotaged. The stop wasn't an accident. They'd been sitting ducks. The deputy continued. A parent in the first trailer noticed suspicious individuals in the parking lot taking photos of children and called it in. We had units positioned throughout the route. When your tractor stopped, we moved in. You're all safe now. But they almost weren't. If that other parent hadn't noticed, if police hadn't been there, if Sarah hadn't been watching. The families were escorted back to the farm on foot, flanked by deputies. Police cruisers lit up the parking field like a crime scene because it was one. Sarah learned later that the three men had prior records. They'd chosen the hayride specifically. The darkness, the isolation, the distracted parents. As Sarah buckled her kids into the car that night, Emma asked, "Mommy, why did that man keep looking at me?" Sarah's hands shook on the steering wheel. "Because some people aren't what they seem, baby, but you're safe. We're all safe." The Harvest Moon hayride never ran again. Here's what Sarah wishes every parent knew: trust your instincts. If someone's behavior feels wrong, it probably is. Don't second-guess yourself to be polite. Watch your kids even in places that feel safe. Especially in places that feel safe. And if you see something, say something immediately. Because that night, the only thing standing between fun and tragedy was one observant parent and Sarah's refusal to look away. Stay vigilant. Stay safe. And remember, not everyone at the Halloween event is there for the candy.